Hi everyone. So welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am still around. I'm just have been really busy with the holidays, with the election, with family. Kids are still home. They went to school for a little bit, for 2 weeks, and then I pulled them just because I didn't feel very safe with the rising cases in coronavirus. So here we are. But a couple things I wanted to start using and review this Manny MUA Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette, along with all the brushes and a couple of lip glosses. I did order this when he first launched. The palette is 15 shades. It's $48. The brush, and it's just an eye brush set. That is, and it comes with 7 brushes. Yeah, and that's $35. And then the 2 lip glosses, one is $17 and the lipstick is $18. The liquid lipstick is $18. So I want to play with that because I've been hearing really good things, and I've been holding off on using it because I wanted to make a video, and I just haven't found the right time. And so today is January the 7th, 2021. So happy new year, everyone. 2021 has been already very rough and it's only the first week of the year. It did start with the end of last year, where my 97-year-old grandma, the matriarch of our family, passed away. She had dementia, and so for the past 5 years or so, she has been slowly just deteriorating. Her mind, sadly, was just every day getting worse and worse, where she didn't recognize a lot of people. She didn't recognize me, my tia Cari, and her 2 daughters and their families. So grateful for them because they have been with her forever. And so these last few years have been very, very tough on them especially. So we are forever grateful for that. But she did pass away in the middle of December, and we knew it was coming. She had a stroke on Sunday, and with the hospitals just being crazy right now, and she would have probably been in isolation, and nobody would have been able to see her. We already knew that time had come. We had a nurse come in, and they said, yeah, like, it's just a matter of time. And so she did pass away about 8 days after that. So she is now resting in peace, and I'm grateful that we had her for as long as we had. So her funeral was the 4th, January 4th. So that was a tough way to start the new year, celebrate her life and everything that she did and accomplished, because she helped bring the family over from Nicaragua to come here to the States. So if it was not for her, who knows where my family would be. So there's that. So, and then found out that my brother-in-law's mother passed away. She was 80. And then Joe Biden won the election, and then they certified his votes through Congress yesterday, and there was a coup. And so that was very, very scary. So I want to talk about that, and I just want to talk about that, even though this first week of 2021 has been rough for my family, for the country. I am very optimistic that we will be triumphant, that we will fight back against tyranny, against fascism, against hate, and our country will be better than before, because these last 4 years have been quite the mess. All right, so I'm going to play with the palette. I'm not really going to explain the performance unless it's something that I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's either fantastic or great or not so great. So I do want to start playing with them. I'll do an eye look because I already did my face, and we'll go from there. So I'm not going to really explain too much. What's that? I'm not going to explain too much, and I'm just going to play with some makeup and then talk about makeup and politics. So if you guys want to see how I create an eye look, not too sure what I'm going to do with the Eternal Eclipse from Lunar Beauty, then go ahead and keep on watching. All right, so let's dive on into the Lunar Eclipse palette. Where did it go? Oh, there it goes. It fell on the floor. So, okay, let's first talk about the packaging. OMG, look how pretty it is. I know Manny NUA said that he spends a lot of time on the packaging and really is mindful of the presentation. So kudos to him. I think it looks fantastic. Okay, so here are the colors. Really, really pretty. This is speaking to me. This is speaking to me, even though it's hard for me to use blue, but I will try. But really pretty. I do like that the names are on here, and I like these little imprints of the moon and his logo. And it has a mirror. Okay, and then brushes. I got this as a bundle, so it's a little bit cheaper, and I think it's sold out. So maybe by the time this comes back on, it's now available. I'm not going to explain the colors that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to dive on in and talk about what's been on my mind, which has been a lot of stuff. Okay, so November 14th was the election, and I had voted early because I didn't want to wait till the last minute, because first I wasn't going to go in person because, hello, we are in a pandemic, and I wanted to avoid public places. Let's fast forward. His election was officially called, I think, 2 or 3 days after the election, because there were just millions of votes, and we won the election. Typically, the media will call it, right? And it's not just like some person in their basement, like, oh, I think they're going to win. No, it's calculated. They look at every avenue. I look at CNN, MSNBC, NPR. I don't look at Fox News because I don't like Fox News. So those are pretty much the 3 places or news sources that I was flipping through that night and the days after. Okay. It's a pretty color. So anyways, so we won. Usually that's good enough for us. And I mean us, the United States, because the years and years of elections, since they have been broadcast on TV, that's usually good enough for us, for the people to be satisfied with, okay, that's our win, that's our next president. Okay, not this year. Because Joe Biden was the winner, the right was like, oh no, the media doesn't call the election, the electorals call the election. Okay, whatever, right? So we waited. Sure enough, it was called for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But they were saying, and they is Trump including this, because he's the one who is leading all this, saying that the election was robbed and rigged because millions of dead people or illegal aliens somehow magically voted. So they took it to court. Over 40 cases were called, and I think they won maybe 1. So that's still not good enough for them. They waited. They were saying, oh no, we're not done. You wait till January 6th. Something's going to happen on January 6th. This is all on social media, because I'm on social media and I'm like typing away at people that are talking stupid nonsense stuff. I'm like on there like, no, this is not right. So anyways, but I kept hearing over and over, January 6th, you wait and see. And so I was like, okay, whatever, right? So January 6th is when when Congress certifies the electoral ballots, right? So what happened is Trump had been calling all of his supporters and his base to come to Washington, D.C., to the White House and to Capitol building, and storm them. And that's exactly what they did. Thousands of domestic terrorists, anarchists, white supremacists stormed the Capitol building, putting in danger the members of Congress, including the vice president who was there, who is the president of the committee. He was escorted out of the building or somewhere in a safe location because they had got alerted that these people are coming. But the DC police, there was all of the military or the police and Homeland Security and the National Guard, they were MIA. How is it that we knew something was going to happen? I'm talking about almost everybody on social media had heard something, and hours went by and nothing was being done. Congress, the members of Congress got escorted into safety. They had a call, they had to put everything on pause. These people broke through and the Capitol building. You usually have to get screened there. Okay? You get screened there and you're made sure that you're not carrying any bombs or whatever, right? Like guns. You can't just stroll on in. Which, duh, hello. These people didn't care about any of that. They bum rushed the Capitol. And they took over the building. So, long story short, I was absolutely disgusted, appalled that these people got so far and for so long in the building. I mean, they went into the House of Representatives. They went to Nancy Pelosi's office, sat in her desk, sat in the chairman's desk in the House, right where Mike Pence was, not 15 minutes before they had rushed in. And they were sitting there, they were climbing the walls, it was complete chaos. 5 people have died, including one DC police officer has died. And the other 4 are supposedly MAGA supporters. One lady got shot in the neck. And it shows the video. She's wrapped in her MAGA flag, blood gushing out of her neck, absolutely terrifying. She was breaking in through a glass door. There must have been some Homeland Security or DC police on the other side protecting members of Congress, and they shot her. That's their job. They have to protect them. So she died. Like I said, along with 4 other people and a police officer. It was absolutely insane. This is something that you see like in Venezuela, in a third world country, where people are uprising against a corrupt election. We have a fair and free election. We voted, and just because you don't like the outcome doesn't mean you can try to strong-arm democracy. Shame on those people. They are terrorists, and they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Unacceptable. If that person was Black, if that person was a person of color, Muslim, whatever, you think that they would have just been there, like the police would have been nonchalant, letting them in? Absolutely not. There would have been dead people on the ground. It would have been a massacre. It would have been the Tulsa massacre all over in 2021. Even Joe Biden has come out and said that this would have been very different if it would have been Black Lives Matter. There is actually, Black Lives Matter did have a protest there, and there were hundreds of police officers in riot gear on the steps of Capitol Hill, lined up there, waiting for the Black Lives Matter movement, protesters to approach. Even though they weren't violent, they were there protesting against police brutality. And the sheer white privilege is so apparent now that there is no denying it. And the people on the right were saying, oh, well, they need to quit burning down buildings and looting. We don't do that. I haven't heard one word from those same people. Shame on them. I have always condoned violence. Violence is not the answer. We use our voice, we use our vote, and that's how we get our rights and our point across. Doing what they did yesterday completely backfired, as it should have. And most of the Republicans that were objecting to certifying the electoral ballots came out afterwards, because they continued. As soon as it was safe, they went back to work and they were counting those ballots. Democracy doesn't stop. Okay. So, some of those Republicans came out against this finally 4 years later and said that this is enough. Absolutely insane that it took this and this long for them to start condemning these people's actions, because this isn't an overnight thing. This has been years and years of them being fed this hateful rhetoric from the president. They took action upon his words, and he put in motion a violent, disturbing insurrection yesterday. Joe Biden said that, and that was the word that I needed to hear, because yes, it was an insurrection, which is a violent attack against an authority or government. What happened yesterday and what's been happening. So Joe Biden is still getting sworn in on his inauguration on January 20th. And good. We cannot let these people try to scare us into moving forward. Donald Trump was not a president for all. He was a president for his friends and for people that look like him. And that is not okay. I like this look so far. So, it was a disgusting day yesterday, and it will go down in infamy because of Donald Trump and his base. So it was really, really sad. So now what do? We move forward, and I'm not going to say I'm forgiving people that have been enabling him. Just because you have changed your tune doesn't mean that you are forgiven. People have died. People have been put out because of this. People are being attacked in the streets all over the United States for looking like a person that might have voted for Joe Biden. I mean, you can't even walk down the street. Some lady got attacked yesterday here in California. A black woman got attacked by a bunch of Trump supporters because they had bombarded her and asked her if she had voted for Joe Biden. And she said, yeah, I don't vote for Trump. And they attacked her. There's video of it. It's just so disgusting. So I can't anymore. If you support Donald Trump, even now. Wow. How? So, I can't wait for inauguration because I'm tired of waking up every day and wondering what's happening in our country. So I'm not saying everybody needs to love Joe Biden, but what is happening in the United States is because of Donald Trump. This is on him. This was his America, and he loved it. And that's not okay with me. I'm going to try this one right here. So anyways. Ooh. So now what do? We move on, right? We learn. We move forward. We try to impeach or invoke the 25th Amendment because he is not in the right state of mind. You should see what he is writing and saying to his base, that he is continuing this whole we were robbed thing, and when it's been proven that it wasn't. We voted him out. So I do hope they impeach him, because now we have a new Congress, and now it is the majority. Now the majority is Democrat, and now we can get him out. And if he gets impeached again and removed, he cannot run for office ever again. So I kind of am hoping they do that, because as much as I want to get him out using the 25th Amendment, like how awesome would that be? I want him out of office because he will try to run again. And if we can get him impeached again, let's do it. Nancy Pelosi has already said, let's do it. Ilhan Omar already drafted up the papers of articles of impeachment. Let's get him out. I'm not gonna do lashes because I'm too lazy, because I'm just home. Okay, so I want to get this guy out of office because he is dangerous. I'm just somebody who speaks up when there is something wrong, when something is wrong. And this man is wrong. For our country, for me, for people that look like me. Let me take off this lip gloss so I can try on the lipstick. 1 second. Okay, so here are the two glosses. One is called Aura, and the packaging is really pretty. And this one is the liquid lipstick, and it's called Zaya. Let's try Zaya, and then we'll do the lip gloss on top. It's like a terracotta brown, not so red in terracotta, but I do see some red. It's pretty. It doesn't smell like anything. Okay, let's try the lip gloss on top. It's like a cooling effect. It's weird. Okay, pretty. What do you think? My eyes are like, boom. Time to go out. Blend this all a little bit more. All right, so really quick, I'll give a rundown of what I think on the palette. I think it's really pretty. Like the brushes. I support this line. I've never used any of Lunar Beauty stuff. I am curious on the blush. But I really do like how it turned out. It's pretty. Okay, so now let's summarize my thoughts on where we stand politically. I think our country has a lot of opportunity to grow from this and to reflect and how to do better. Okay. The sheer injustice and white privilege is so prevalent now. It always has been. And I hate to say it, but there's no denying it. These people just didn't wake up overnight and just be like, if you are not white, then I don't support you. This has been going on since the United States has been formed. And it's in our history. Just look at our history. I mean, from Civil War to the South to Tulsa Massacre to Martin Luther King, the civil rights, to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. So what are we going to do to make this country better? I say, if you are white, this is when you check your privilege, because it's not your fault. Like, it's not your fault you're white. You know what I mean? It's not your fault that people treat you different because of the way life has been. I am light-skinned, but I'm Latina. So people treat me different from Afro-Latina or a darker Latin person. And I've seen it. I have been blind to it because I just thought that's just the way it was. But no, now going back and I see things, I'm like, if I had been a different color, a different shade, darker, would I have been treated different? And sadly, I think it is true. So, for all my white friends out there, I urge you to speak up. Use your privilege to lift up people of color, indigenous people, LGBTQ plus community. We need you. This country will not be better unless you stand side by side with us and condemn stuff that like happened. I'm hopeful and optimistic of that. It's going to be a few years because Joe Biden has an uphill battle for sure. But I believe it will get better, but we have to do it together if those people want to. If you don't want to, then we will be triumphant because we are not backing down. So, more to come. What do you guys think of doing makeup and politics? So I'm hoping to record more videos here and there. I do have some new makeup that I haven't used. And so let's just see what happens. Let's take 2021 little by little, rough start, but it will get better. All right, everyone, take care, speak up. If you see something not right, defend those that don't use their voice or cannot use their voice, because that's the only way we'll beat this. Much love.